I had been questioning my identity a lot. I'd been a believer since I was 14 years old. And honestly, I only asked Jesus into my heart because I was afraid of going to hell. I learned to be fearful of God and only really obeying Him because I was afraid of being punished. In the years since then, I learned more about God's character and His goodness and who He says that I am. But why am I still yearning for more? What does more even mean? What does it mean to you? Because to me, more means to feel God's goodness and His warmth and hear Him speaking to me. I hear God speaking to me through reading my Bible, listening to these wonderful sermons at church, conversations with my friends, and through worship music. More also means choosing to obey Him because I love Him, not because I'm afraid of Him. I yearn for His presence. Have you been there too? Do you ever feel like something is just missing? Like a spark is just missing from relationship with God? Don't worry, we have all been there before at one point or another, no matter where we are in our walk with Christ. The enemy loves to just slip in and corrupt our thoughts, to distract us from what God says is true. And I know that God says that I am His and that I am chosen, that I am wonderfully made, and that I have a purpose. So why can't I just tell the enemy to go away and leave me alone? Just leave me alone, right? I've had these shouting matches with the enemy inside my head so many times, I can't even count. I just have these battles with him over insecurities that he tells me are true, but they are not. They are not of God. God says all of these wonderful, beautiful things about all of us, and it's our choice to believe them. Can you relate to having these shouting matches with the enemy in your head? Or maybe sometimes not in your head. Maybe you have them out loud and your neighbors can hear. I also doubt God's love for me and my worthiness to Him. That sometimes I'm not as good as this person or that person. And, it's just not true. It's not true. It's the enemy lying to you over and over again. I became frustrated with a stagnant relationship with God. I felt like I was in a deep, dark hole and I just could not get out. Like I'm just clawing my way, trying to get footing, to get out of this hole, just to feel His light on my face. And it's just a horrible place to be in. I look around and I see all these other women that seem to have everything all figured out, whether it's their marriages, their parenting skills, their home and how clean it is, or their jobs and especially their faith. But I realized looking back that those are just the highlight reels that I was seeing. It wasn't true, but my insecurities were telling me that that was true. Just know that you're not alone in feeling like that also. That those insecurities can sometimes feel like truth, but they're not. And so please know that you're not alone in feeling like that. I desperately wanted to fit in with these ladies and to learn how they have it all together, right? Well, then lo and behold, we would get orders to another country. So I'm having to move and figure things out all over again. I was feeling really lost and especially alone, but God showed up. And He brought me these wonderful women. And they showed me how to have a meaningful and deep relationship with God that I was missing. I was missing out on this, and I hated missing out on this. But they showed me how to have this relationship. And it was just the simple things like cleaning up their house. When all these mundane chores that we all hate to do, doing the dishes, washing the clothes, cleaning up all the little messes that our little kiddos make around us. And so I had this one wonderful friend tell me hey, this is what I learned. I thank God. I pray and thank God while I'm doing my dishes that, hey, God, thank you for the food on our table, and thank you for these adorable little mouths that I'm able to feed. And when she's doing the laundry, every article of clothing that she's pulling out of the dryer, she's thanking God for that person and what they mean to her in their life. I mean, come on. Something so simple. Why hadn't I thought about this before? And it really it changed the priorities that I had and made me look at these chores a lot differently. And don't get me wrong, I still struggle. Some days are better than others. And then these ladies also showed me what grace looks like. When someone wronged them, they were able to turn the other cheek. They showed me what that really meant, because God sent his son to die for us. And he shows us grace upon grace upon grace every day. So why can't we just show grace to other people? I have a really hot temper. So I'm learning to try to control that temper and think before I react. So that way I can remember to show grace. It's not something that is just like a light switch, easily done, right? So don't worry, you're not alone in that. It'll come. And then when these ladies were hit hard with a loss, their faith may have been tested a little bit, but it didn't waver. They chose to trust God in that horrible circumstance. They chose to allow good to come of it, even though it hurt and it's so painful. They allowed this situation to be a blessing to someone else. Because when you've been through that situation and it's horrible and it hurts and you're never really over it, but you're able to be there to someone else and help them to still see God through it. And so that's what's really important. When they stumbled in their obedience with God, because let's face it, we all stumble, we all trip up. They showed me what forgiveness looks like. Asking for forgiveness, apologizing where they've wronged someone, and just being there for someone else. I still have trouble. I have pride issues. Let's be real. I have a hard time apologizing to my sweet husband when I know I've made a mistake and I don't really want to admit it. But I'm learning, I'm praying, I'm asking for God to help me, to intervene in that situation and to take that pride away from me. And yes, he gives me a lot of chances to learn that, that lesson. These ladies are so precious to me. I am just so incredibly thankful for all that they have taught me and for them to show up and invite me to be part of their lives. I'm thankful that they love me, that they pray for me, and that I can just pick up the phone and call them whenever I need them. Do you need someone like that in your life? I pray that you would be bold enough to seek someone out. Tell them how you're feeling, how you're struggling, that you just can't do it on your own anymore, and you need help with finding those first steps to take to have that relationship with God. Have you been here before? And now you're on the other side of it. That's amazing, and I'm so proud of you. But now take it one step further. I challenge you, look for someone that is struggling and ask them how you can help them, how you can be there for them. That's what we're all here for. We're here to help others, to show them to God, bring everyone back to God. I am still growing in my faith. I do not have all the answers and I don't have it all figured out at all. But guess what? Even though I'm still learning, I still feel God calling me to be bold and to step out of my comfort zone. I'm a wallflower at parties, so don't think that I enjoy putting myself out there, because I do not. But instead, God says, be bold. And bold means to be courageous and to show an ability, to risk it all, right? What can that mean for me? What can that mean for you? I never saw myself as a leader. I never saw myself leading a Bible study or being part of a women's ministry team or anything like that. Didn't see it happening, right? But while I was learning about Moses and his life, these opportunities came about. And I was just like, really? Are you sure? Moses pleaded with God. He said, no, God, I'm slow of speech. Please send someone else to Pharaoh. I cannot get my words out. And hello, I'm kind of old. Let's face it, he was 80 to be starting his ministry, right? But God said, no, I'm not going to send anyone else. I'll send someone with you, but I'm not going to send anyone else. I had similar conversations with God. Mine went a little something like this. God, who in the world am I to be stepping up and doing anything like this? I can't hardly finish my own sentences, and yet you want me to go speak? Don't think so. What in the world do I possibly have that I can offer anyone else? I don't see anything. And I'm definitely not nearly as strong in my faith as other people. Why are you sending me? Can't please send someone else? Please let me still hide, please. God said to be bold. He said to trust him. He said to believe in him. So who am I, God? Who am I? That's right. That's right. I am chosen. I am yours. I am wonderfully made. And I have a purpose. You will qualify me and you will prepare me. Jesus called people from all walks of life, from fishermen to tax collectors, rich people, poor people, educated and uneducated people. He called everyone. And he equipped them. He used ordinary people for his extraordinary work. We've heard this so much. So why don't we believe it in ourselves? Because the enemy lies to us. So we must choose today to trust God, to trust his goodness, to trust that he wants more for us if we only obey and step out in faith. God chose you. God says you are wonderfully made. You have a purpose, and he will qualify you. If he can do this for me and everyone else before me, he can do this for you. So what will you do today? How will you be bold today? And most importantly, will you obey God today? Because he will qualify you and use you, all for his glory.